Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video, and in this video we are going to take a look at the same name series and take a look at the Android and Cell Saga team, but focusing mainly on Perfect Cell. Now of course the Android and Cell Saga team currently only really has one major lead, and that is Perfect Cell himself. And in terms of team build, there's actually a lot of options. Obviously the same name update really helps out, but Cell was one of those units before that had kind of two distinctions. He had Cell Perfect Form, and then he had Perfect Cell. Now obviously Perfect Cell, from what I can understand, was essentially the finished article of Cell. Cell when he comes back after Goku's explosion, and then Cell Perfect Form was the one before that, from what I understand. So that's realistically the only distinction I can make. But other than that, your guess is as good as mine. Now we did have a nice awakening recently in the World Tournament for that Tech Perfect Cell, which makes him a very good support unit, which is great. We've had three pretty old EZAs, but they are still relatively strong, in the form of the Tech Cell, the Int Cell, and the Strength Cell. We also have Cell First Form, and we have a couple other cells, but realistically we need some updates to the extreme side of the Android Cell Saga. We still need a First Form cell that isn't a free-to-play card. We still need a Second Form cell that isn't just this support, this 50% extreme tech support. We could do with another Cell Junior. We could maybe go for a transforming cell. There are a lot of options in terms of just cell units that we could use, not to mention Androids 18 and 19, not to mention, some additional reworks in terms of units in general. A couple Android 18 EZAs are on the way, a couple Android 17 EZAs are on the way. So there are still options that can be presented for the Android Cell Saga, but when we talk specifically Cell, I think we're due for a new kind of cell. Preferably I'd like a transforming cell or a second form cell, but ideally we could also do with a updated perfect form cell or perfect cell. I think that would be really good. Not only do I like Cell as a villain, I think he was very entertaining, but the Strength Perfect Form Cell and the Tech Perfect Cell, the Strength Perfect Cell, Imperfect Cell, and Tech Perfect Cell are all somewhat out of date, and having a new link partner for the LR would help boost his performance overall, because realistically he's still very good. He's just, he lacks partners that can keep up with him. So yeah, he's still very, very good. But yeah, he just needs someone that can kind of stay with his pace. Cell's one of those units that really benefits from having a good partner. He's got a good link set when he's linked up with another cell. Has really good stats when linked up with another cell. And the Int cell I actually think has aged really well. If you look here, if we take a look at Cell and we look at his defense here, this is a cell with dupes. He's at 177,000 defense. No big bad bosses activated or anything like that. Very, very good number of defense for this cell right here. He just needs better partners. The physical one's good for him, but still falls off a little bit defensively now and then. There's no support here for Cell either, so Cell's still looking really good. And remember, this Cell gets stronger the more people he faces. Technically his second form is a form that inherently is stronger versus single units, so it's actually quite an interesting, he's still so good, and I think a lot of people just don't respect him because, well, he only really pairs well with other cell units. So on Android teams, you'll probably use him, but you're using him paired with another cell, and those cells aren't too great. And so that means that generally speaking, you kind of need him to, he just functions as a floater generally when you talk about things like Android's teams. And if we look at things like Time Travelers, again, he'll function great with another cell, but ideally that's kind of what you're stuck with. And yeah, just overall, I just think he just needs a better running mate. Here you can see both cells linked up again. Very good in terms of link set. Very good numbers as well. We're looking at 200 and something K defense with some support. We're looking at 145 for the physical LR, who's not rainbowed. These are good numbers, and these guys will only get better. I mean, they got a lot of link leveling left to go, especially my one. And you know, Cell again, it's not optimal conditions for him. He's not fighting multiple enemies, and that is something that really boosts his performance as well. So again, it's more just to take note that Cell as a unit is exceptional. This int LR Cell, and he still is exceptional by today's standards. I think the issue is that he doesn't have a high class running mate. Now the physical one can be good, especially if you link level him, you have dupes in him and everything like that. He can still be very good, but he doesn't have a better defensive point. And I think firstly, just giving them another good support. So this World Tournament Cell helps a lot. He's very solid in terms of being a support. Yeah, he only has 80k defense, but he does have a high chance of firing off an additional super attack when facing two enemies, and he will also greatly raise attack and defense for one turn. So he does get a decent whack of defense, and he provides great support to the rotation, which is always really good. So that was a good update, but they need something more like that. They need a second form Cell, they need a revamped Cell Juniors, they just need a lot. That if they added them in, a transforming Cell, if they just added one or two of these pieces in, the Cell team would be back on top of the menu. And the Android and Cell Saga, or at least the extreme side of the Android Cell Saga, would be way more functional. And I think Cell could be more usable on a lot more teams. But right now he's still very good. The heal that he provides is also super helpful. So yeah, realistically, I like Perfect Cell. I think he's really good, and I just really like the villain. So maybe I'm being biased, but he's very cool, and I actually really like using him, and I like using this team. I think it's quite an impressive team, and I think it's just one or two pieces away from being back to where it is. But it's still really cool to have perfect power, run all these perfect cells together, and really awesome team. The strength one is still somewhat viable because he stacks attack and defense, which obviously helps him out in longer events. But units like the tech one and the int one have aged quite poorly. Not badly, not that they're not usable, they're still quite usable, but they just haven't aged as well. The tech one is good for healing, and he's pretty good once he gets some orbs, but the fact that you have to feed him key orbs doesn't generally make him a good choice for a team like this, because both Cell LRs are very key hungry, especially since when fighting only one enemy, the int Cell doesn't really gain any additional key, and their link set doesn't give them massive amounts of key, so you definitely want to try and get some key from orbs. So it means that generally speaking, you can't just kind of throw the units in and then just go with it. You kind of have to work from there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Perfect Cell team. Like I said before, nothing too crazy in terms of team. Really fun team to run, a very impressive team, and definitely good for a lot of harder content. Just not a team that's super viable in maybe stuff like the Gods of Destruction events and things like that. Int Cell, definitely. The rest of them, not so much, but cells do have a very unique link set, so it does make them a very interesting combination to run, and they all have big bad bosses, which is, as you guys know, one of the commonly favored links in the game. So that's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below on what you think about the team, and as always, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. But until then, take care and bye.